All right. We are back with another episode of the Ashen Pages podcast. I am the Dice Boss, and with us as usual is our lovely host, Starside K9 Tank, Gorbo the Sniper, and who comes back for this episode? It is Shorkle. Shorkle, welcome back, and everybody else, welcome back. It is good to be here on another day. Just in general.
Meow.
Greetings, everybody.
Here.
Dog noises.
Bark. Wolf.
Bark.
Are you mocking me?
I don't think
Nah.
No. Maybe a little.
He's not thinking this through.
I'm just calling you and greeting you, and
Wolf.
and also saying I would like to come over, or you come over for some tea and coffee, maybe both.
Yeah, tea and coffee, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just go for coffee. And I'm gonna say right now, this episode's about to get wicked.
Oh, there we go.
This
Wicked in a good way or wicked in a bad way?
About to say, speaking of getting wicked, or
Should we put an 18 plus bonus on this video?
yeah.
Should we go ahead and get demonetized at the beginning?
Well, we don't even have monetization to begin with, so there's one thing
We can hope.
Well, we can.
We'll make it work.
That's the thing. We hope, and then we
We'll
get
do
it
our
taken
best.
down. Oh boy. All right, so folks.
The YouTube gods won't smite us. We'll be fine.
Yeah. So for this, today's topic is how to come up with or write a great backstory. Because I know that was one topic that we are going to do, and then probably the next episode is what goes into a bad backstory. Like we do, like the positives and the negatives. Mr. Tank, thank you for bringing in that particular.
You better call me Smith.
You're dang right I was, because your character for that is being way too good for me right now. All right, so
I don't like how you said that, but go on.
anyways, so
He's plotting your demise, Run.
so regarding
Got me locked in the basement room.
the idea of a backstory, that of course can mostly depend on what kind of background you end up taking to work around that. So there's, different ways you can do that for like some of the stuff that's in the different books that have things like, being an acrobat, being something of a faction, like something from the Alkenstar, like a nation or anything like that, or even being something like a doctor or any kind of like deal like there. But if you always need to find something, you can always then, customize your background and add your own deal. But ultimately, the issue then becomes, apart from the mechanics of it, how do you, of course, roleplay this out? Because it's more than just simply having, okay, this stuff that's written out for you, you got to add on to that. You got to make sure it's not just, okay, generic doctor from a previous life.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with just the generic stuff. Let's make this clear here.
Yeah.
Sometimes the generic stuff is good too.
Well, that's the thing, though. There's, like, being a pure copy of it, or you go with, say, the generic, but you make it a bit more interesting with, like, a tweak that happens. But that only starts in the writing of the backstory, which is the important element of this, in my opinion. Is that you can even take something that is generic, but you end up making it unique just because of how you have it written down. So we are going to go over how to write a great backstory. Let's start off with Tank. You're the one that came up with this, so what's your idea of how to write a great backstory?
I don't normally write backstories. I will be honest with you. I get maybe 2 lines in before I start improvising stuff on the spot. So, nothing wrong with just talking to the DM about the, campaign you're in, or the settings and storylines that may or may not come up, and plan around there.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell us then about this improvising thing, like if that's how you handle it. Like,
I do all my stuff like in the campaign, like as it's running. My recent character Smith, up until the point I said he had 2 kids, he did not have 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything about Smith is improvised.
Now, do you feel like that? Because some people might probably, and I don't know, they may try to bring up this as a point, as like then it's not really much of a backstory. It's just making it up as you go that could provide
But that technically is a
inconsistencies.
backstory.
Right.
Like, as long as you like write down what you are saying about his backstory, it becomes a backstory.
But as I was trying to explain, was the idea people say this is where you can get into inconsistencies and contradictions within the backstory. Do you feel like that is a legit problem that could happen? And if so, is there any way to resolve it?
Keep track of what you say and when you say it, but it's going to happen eventually. Either the DM forgets about it, or you forget about it, and then you're stuck in a situation of, oh, did this happen to him? What was? I don't remember.
So it's
at that point, you just roll a dice and decide.
Yeah, definitely something you got to be very careful on, in my opinion. There for sure. All right, Corvo, tell us your great, wonderful perspective on this. Oh, great.
I was actually speaking a minute ago. I guess I was still muted. I was saying, like, even if you did have a backstory, sometimes even then you'll forget certain things, and then contradictions will still happen.
Right. Well, what's your take on how to write a great backstory?
I mean, if you wanted to, like, especially if you want to have a connection with your character, like add things from your life that you would put into it, or certain characters that are from shows and whatnot that you also may like, and then put it into there and just delve from a backstory from that. There's a lot of ways to make a great backstory, and no one said it has to be perfect, because a lot of the times your DM could help in making the backstory more interesting. Let's say you're like, oh, well, I want my character to have something tragic happen, but I don't know, happen in their life or something, but I don't know how I could implement that, because I don't want it to be same old.
Yeah, leave plot
Johnny
hooks
ran
in the
over.
backstory.
I know you've certainly played your share of tragic backstory kind of individuals. Do you have any tips on how you feel you can kind of freshen those up to say?
Basically, I guess in a way, try and look into different how do I put it? Today I'm very drained, so some of my shit might be a little bit bleh. Maybe in a way, if you want it to, oh my god, why am I not able to communicate properly like normal human?
Maybe you need a V8.
No. Those are nasty.
Why would they need an engine?
I will slap you for that one.
It took a minute, but it got there.
Oh, that's funny.
Someone please make a highlight out of that one. Just I just picture an animatic, and just during that whole thing, I just end up throwing an actual V8 at Tank for that.
Stop throwing bottles at me.
It's not a bottle, it's gonna be a can!
It can be in bottles.
I mean, why not both? I throw a bottle and a can.
V8 in the can. The V8 in the bottle is significantly better. It tastes better.
V8s are disgusting.
Alright, you know what?
V8s are not disgusting.
Disgusting.
Guys, I think we're off topic again.
Yeah,
yes, we are.
So, tragic backstory.
But, I do...
Sad shit.
Sad shit. I guess, I do play a lot of characters with tragic backstory. Well, not all the time. I mean, the only reason you made Kono have a tragic kind of backstory is because you killed his whole fucking family, but we're not going to talk about that.
True.
Anyway.
But that's, of course, during the game. The issue then becomes, about, of course, and that's definitely going to happen in some cases for sure. But I'm talking about, the kind of thing that happens in the past before, you end up meeting the party at that point. Because you got to eventually...
Well, then that brings up my character my half-orc character Corvo, and them being abandoned and shit like that, and like technically, their parents, if I remember, no, their parents didn't die.
Yeah, they did.
Like their actual parents. It's just they
put
were
up for adoption, right?
No, they abandoned Corvo. They fucking dropped them off, and they were like, "Good luck." But I guess in the sense of like, if you want to make a good, I am so trying to communicate this in the right proper way, but then my brain's just like, no, we're gonna block that real quick. I guess to say like, go with the flow of what you feel in a way, because like at first when I made Corvo, I didn't intend for them to have that kind of backstory. Funny enough, I just made them and was like, yep, they're a half-orc, they, them, blah 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 blah. They think they're a tiefling because they were raised by tieflings, yada yada yada. And then I was like, well, with this character, if they were raised by tieflings, how would I implement, like, how were they, like, you know, raised by these tieflings, you know? And then I was like, oh, okay, they could have been abandoned then, because, like, they could have been set up for adoption, like, put in an adoption home, but I don't see, orcs anytime soon going into a place and being like, unless, you know, you made the orcs be nice in this sort of situation, because a lot of people play, you know, my mean big bad orc man, ha 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 ha, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, depending on the situation, they could have been like, you know, these orcs that are not good, and you know, like, when are they gonna fucking just toss you in an orphanage and be like, oh, there you go? And that's not what the tribe that Corvo came from was like, so they were abandoned. And so it just ended up being that situation, and them going through an existential crisis of like, I'm not a tiefling? Whoa! Bobby. And then there's Sigga, who I also, well, no, he wasn't abandoned. He was thrown into what he was into.
Yeah.
But like, I guess that just delves into the I have abandonment issue.
I mean,
it kind of sounds like it the more I talk about my fucking characters.
Sounds about right. That's why I honestly think like you're like a pro at that stuff, because you do tend to usually make a lot of like tragic ones, and those are kind of difficult to make without it being, you know.
Well, sometimes it is just improvised too, like how Wolf was saying. Like Tank was saying.
One of his many nicknames.
Yeah, he's got so many.
I don't really have that much.
Tomato.
Like 3.
But it's like, you know, like you can improvise these things, and as long as you make sure to keep them written out and keep track of what you use to improvise these sort of things, is just how it goes. And that can stick to what your character is like. I think recently, my 2 recent characters, Sia and Virgil, they're twins, and their whole shtick is like, you know, they weren't like, you know, they don't have a tragic backstory or anything like that, but like for them though, what their tragedy is that when they were born, they were joined by the arms. Sia for her left and Virgil for his right. And so having to grow up learning how to like use the opposite arm. I actually made a funny joke about this where it's just like, oh, so you know how to write with your left hand for Virgil, and he's just like, oh yeah, and when me and my sister are together, we're ambidextrous. I just thought it would be a funny little joke to have that. But yeah, no, it's just getting creative with it, and like not doing the same old, my family was murdered by a cult, and everything burned before me. No, there isn't. I'm just being funny.
Kind of played out.
Yeah, it's just a funny little joke, like how many would make fun of it too, in our shoes, really. And like, there's nothing wrong with a backstory like that, especially if you can't really think of anything on the fly, which that normally happens with me. But the more I keep doing like a lot of the D&D stuff, the more I'm like, ooh, I know what kind of backstory I want to do for this character, or what I want to do for this one. And the possibilities are endless.
Endless possibilities.
Like Molly, like she had a tragic backstory of being dumped into a camp. Well, not a camp, but like a place where they like, you know, made them fight to the death, basically.
Yeah.
All because she was like smaller than normal orcs. She was like an orc, like an actual fucking orc. And because of her size, they were like, that's a little weird. She's deformed. We're gonna like toss her in there. And also she can read and write for some fucking reason. Humans have poisoned her. Whoa! And so her whole life was just spent being by herself and worrying that, you know, she would be judged again or thrown to the curb. But ended up making friends and them showing her she could be a princess, and she's a princess now, and I'm very happy about that.
Very much so. Very good campaign, I must say.
I agree.
So that being said, that's definitely a lot to go on for there, and thank you for that.
Sorry, I ranted. That happens.
At least you got out a good bit there. Now we just need to get you a lesson thing, like your own master class for tragic backstory writing. All right,
No.
Starside. Do you have any ideas on backstory writing?
For me, when it comes to making backstories, I usually will look into the pieces of media I watch, whether it's YouTube or like a show. An idea of mine is to look at the more unseen or more unpopular characters, like in a certain show, and I would just follow them for a bit. It's just like, wonder what this character's about. Like, what's their part in this? And it's like, if I can't go off with much, I'll just wing it, and it's like I'll just think to myself, just like, this will be their personality. This will be their sad backstory, or maybe happy backstory. I see a lot of tragic backstories within D&D and Pathfinder, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, why don't we just go off something pretty cynical, or maybe like something happy, something cynical, and just draw a little bit of a thin line. And then when you feel like you have a good backstory, you just work with what you got. Sometimes you'll have to improvise, or you can always ask for help and ask for suggestions with your other crewmates or teammates that are you'll be journeying with. And it's like, hey, does this look good? And then he's like, you go over with the dice boss or the DM. I say dice boss because it's gotten to me. I'm so used to it. But yeah, say it to the DM, and it's like, hey, does this look good? They'll give you a confirmation. They'll give you suggestions, and it's like you'll think with those suggestions. It's like, oh, I guess I could do that. And it's like anything that's comfortable with you, and definitely make it unique as hell too. Because like, don't stop. Like, why are people coming in? But anyway, if you got like any ideas, I don't know, man. I'm in the middle of a podcast. Why?
We're so professional here.
No, don't try. No,
yeah, I can't have any privacy. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Were they talking about money?
I don't
Why,
know.
can I add
No, call out my little sister's name.
Say what?
They were calling my little sister's name. Anyway.
But to say, I almost thought I heard, hey, you got my money. I'm like, oh snap! What did you get yourself into?
The mafia's there for the claim.
I'm just saying.
Hey, we're supposed to be there too next week.
I'm just saying, if it's anyone's coming for asking for money, if I'm ever in trouble, the only person I want to be in trouble by is if it was just a character that was portrayed by Idris Elba, because that dude's starting to come up in everywhere at this point.
He's a solid actor. That makes sense.
Great actor with a great voice. I mean, you can't beat that. But what were you gonna say, Starside?
No, that's just that's pretty much all I got to say for backstory wise.
All right then. Appreciate that, buddy. Appreciate your comment on that. But now we must all gang up and turn to Shorkle.
Harassment! Harassment!
You guys are so mean to me. Okay, first I'm gonna be real with you, T. Every time we make a D&D character backstory, I put a little bit of my trauma into there. To be real with you
And
here.
there's nothing wrong with it.
I feel that.
Anyways, in a more serious notion though, I as strange as this seems for somebody who has such a lax art schedule, I have a strict way I go about D&D character backstories. Usually, I will have a central beginning idea and kind of not realized yet ending idea for a character, and then everything in the middle I sort of kind of fill in what you would do when you're writing the bare bones base of a story or a report or something like that. Essentially, I treat it kind of oh, this character might be made into a book someday, so I might as well write them something cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to be able to still play with it, but have kind of a beginning goal and an end goal.
Yeah, key points, beginning, middle, and end type thing.
Yeah, that's
Makes sense.
Yeah, very much makes sense. Yeah. So with all that, now we've
Is that why you only make short characters?
oh my god.
Short characters, because I'm a short person. I'll punch you in the kneecap.
I'll grab the step
Asshole.
ladder. The step ladder.
I'll grab the step ladder, don't worry.
Jesus.
Goddamn step ladder. I have platforms. Thank you.
Yeah, the 50-foot platforms. I understand.
Platforms won't help you when I knock you down. You can't get back up.
I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna punch both of you.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Not gonna need a step in ladder or platforms. What is gonna happen is I'm gonna give Shorkle a chair, not a chair to stand on or to sit on to reach your height, but just that
not like she has a leg to stand on.
I swear to God.
We did a doorbell kind of thing at some point.
It's having the chair so then you could take it and then smash those kneecaps.
I swing it into their kneecaps.
Yep.
You guys are bullying me. What did I do?
If she could reach them.
If you think about it, oh my God.
You assholes.
If you think about it, that would be a very effective WWE type of wrestler, a short person, and then makes them very effective with those kinds of weapons, with the chairs and everything.
This means we'll get thrown around the ring.
If you're very agile and light, you can bounce yourself from the ropes and then tackle them.
I mean, with Jolene, she already kind of does that.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, that's because she's bunny. Listen, I wanted to play
She's
rabbit
bun.
closely.
She's a short stack, and there will be nothing.
Dirk.
Yeah.
Well, rabbit folk aren't supposed to be large. They're small.
You're
Yep.
small.
Hey, oh my God. Gee, I know we made jokes about picking on. Yeah, I will not hesitate to let Shorkle fight y'all. I will be the referee in that fight.
Bring it on!
You keep talking. I'll convince
I will
RC
talk.
to make a secret death roll for you.
Fucking PvP. As soon as we get to the fucking thing, just Jolene coming up Sig, I'm about to beat your ass. Sig, I'm like, what?
Just
No,
this
I'll
happening,
just
Corvo.
so happen to miss a shot with my gun, and the bullet will just so happen to accidentally go into Siga's kneecap.
All right, I will take that into consideration. Just this conversation, just anytime the short comments go on between Corvo, and Tank between Shorkle, and then it's just me and Starside just in the background, oh my God, this is gonna be interesting.
Here's the thing.
They hit me for a long time, and they haven't.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. She won't beat me up because she loves me too much. Well, Tank, on the other hand, that's a different story. Cause she'll beat his ass. She won't beat mine.
She will attempt to. Yet.
With how many times I've left him to die in Dead by Daylight, yeah.
You got a point. There's evidence on my Twitch.
You should plug your Twitch.
Plugging in my Twitch. Follow me on Corver the Sniper TTV. You know what to do.
May or may not be in the comments or the.
I'm gonna put it in the comments.
So one of the things that can come is, and this is mostly for, of course, on the Pathfinder like deal for making the backstories. Like a lot of the stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about.
A lot of the stuff for that is mostly mechanic wise for like just general stuff. Like for example, sailor. That could literally be anything. Royalty. Oh, what kind of royalty? Who cares? As long as you got this background here, then you can put in whatever you want for that. You're a refugee. From where? You're just a refugee, at least for the mechanic wise. So then there's something I thought about that's interesting, especially if you're making like a homebrew setting or if you just want to make something very interesting. Is like if it's like a faction or some business you were a part of at that point. So my idea for this is to at least kind of demonstrate a way on how we can do this by workshopping and brainstorming a kind of background together. So I need some ideas. Anyone got any kind of like interesting, weird, like specific backstory that y'all want to try to throw in there?
I mean, I tried the deadbeat father out once, and that didn't go well.
You know what? Oh, wait, what?
See, you know how I'm trying to make Judgment Boy as a D&D character?
I swear. Yeah?
He's just a fucked up lawyer, dude.
Okay.
Just a fucked up lawyer.
You mean like fucked up as in like a bad lawyer, or like one that's always on drugs? What do you mean by fucked up?
He lost a case that was rigged against him without his knowledge.
Let me check something here.
He fumbled a case. And then the oh my god, what are the people in charge of the courtroom called with the mallet and the gavel?
The jury and the judge.
The judge! There we go, thank you!
You think for someone who judges so much, you remember what that means are.
So they do.
Somebody who's a judgy Nancy.
Well, they have the barrister. They have the barrister background for that, for the lawyer element. Then you just make him basically a chaotic lawyer, chaotic neutral, maybe, possibly.
He's lost his mind. He became a demon, and now he follows Lady Justice because he's nuts.
Yep, there's that. So here's an idea that I got in mind. Maybe, because let's take, for example, this is gonna be weird coming from me. Let's take a stripper.
Mm-hmm.
Take a stripper, right?
You called my name.
Jesus Christ.
He didn't specify it was a female or male stripper. You gotta specify.
I just like how Starside's only reaction was like, okay. I'm like,
okay.
No, it's more of a just okay.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I know where this is going. I know exactly where this row's going.
Well, you spoke of strippers, and I figured I'd put my two cents in.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take Smith instead?
If you're offering you 2 cents, you did not make much as a stripper. That being said, so you already got entertainer background for that, but what if we try to make a faction, a specific kind of stripper?
A stripper faction. I see.
Like, imagine they're strippers, but they're assassins as well.
Actually, I've had the thought of making a concubine assassin. One that
cool.
Actually, I could probably. You know what? I'm doing that for Virgil.
Well, here's the thing. It's not just a
Let's
one-person thing.
nice.
There's multiple people where it's basically the strip club, but it's also home to a group of assassins who act within both of those deals, especially in more secrecy. So in case some clients come in after being tempted or offered from some sort of advertisement, then boom, they come in.
Yeah, no,
and get killed.
that's what I'm meaning. Like,
So Virgil was part of like a group of assassin strippers.
No.
Well, that's
concubine.
Right, but that
prostitute.
Right. Yeah, but that was what I was talking about, though. The idea of this group and organization of it, though.
Now to get everyone to do it, that would be a thing.
Yep, that would be something. So then at that
Because
point,
I am down for that. Like,
Yep.
that'd be cool as fuck.
so
As long as I get to be a drink delivery girl in a bunny suit, I'm totally down for that. Magic Mike back for blood!
Magic Mike. What?
Jesus.
God damn it.
So then at that point we would have to discuss what would be ability boost for that particular thing. There would have to be the or one. So I would think either charisma or in this case probably dexterity would be the second one. Because you got to be agile as well with your assassination.
Yeah.
At that point I would say it would be, because we got to choose one skill and then a sort of lore based skill. So because I would want to try to say do theater lore to kind of borrow from the entertainer thing, but I think you got it. Maybe train in performance, but yet assassin.
Poisonous, I would say poison lore. Get you to make poisons and make sure you don't, kill yourself while doing it.
That could be an idea. Though I was thinking more like an assassin or underground lore skill, especially if you're already like working with like an underground organization at that point. It kind of gets you more criminal contacts to use in that deal.
Yeah.
It's
So,
something you gotta talk to your team about.
you definitely want to talk with the GM about it for sure. And so at that point, I don't know what could then be a good skill feat, because you always at least get the one skill feat.
Poison crafting, the artificial thing.
Well,
You
keep
can
in
make
mind,
poisons.
not everyone's necessarily a poison one in the idea that I propose, because yeah, you could have some poisoners, but then you got
For
like
assassination, poison probably the best thing. It's easy to hide on shippers as well.
and so are like knives or improvised small simple
Well,
weapons.
Yeah,
No,
but if you're
I-
wanting to get away discreetly, especially if you're an assassin who is
Well-
invited to
well-
be a stripper at a party.
Well, that's a reminder as to what I mentioned is
If you're
they
not aware of
are
anything.
they are luring people to this organization that is under the guise of a strip club or a prostitution place, and it's basically the killers bring them to their own hideout, kill them, and then they dispose the
say-
body.
Either poisoner or like a smuggler thing, because there's a smuggling feat where you can hide stuff on or in your body. I know Tank had that when he was, a character.
Yeah.
The place should be called the Scarlet Letter.
Be an
That
idea.
sounds familiar from history class back in the day.
Yep. That's the point.
There you go. All right. So we at least then came up with a
And the
general
letter would
idea
be-
of how to then take, because again, there's not just simply like the simple kind of backstories of like taking something like, being an assassin or a thief and then making small tweaks, but then even going to specifics, especially if you're adding it to the world that you're playing in, and you like come up with like an organization you want to have your character be a part of, if you're especially looking for that uniqueness to it. But yeah, that's been a good bit of covering backstory stuff there. Anything anybody want to touch on or mention as a final point?
Don't be afraid to wing it.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to try something new.
Try.
Themed characters are really, really fun.
Starsight's got his mic open.
Oh.
Ooh, woo.
Ooh, woo.
I swear to God.
You will?
Oh.
All right. And all the furries began trying to make a call. For the love of God! First it was the doggos.
Oh my god, he's purring again.
First it was the doggos, and now it's the gatos.
Which I thought you were supposed to be a
star.
canine star.
Don't worry
What happened to
about
that? Then you're a
it.
cat.
Bilingual.
What the
My dog is broken. I think
Just go from
bilingual.
meow to
I was
Yeah,
I was.
I don't think that works like that.
It was like born a dog. It was
I
like
don't think
born
Unfortunately, I
born a
am
dog raised by catfolk.
Yep, from birth.
That one on
Is a
deception.
shinny raised by catfolk.
Yes.
There we go. There's a backstory for you.
Eh,
There's a backstory. There you go. See, backstories can be fun, stupid little ideas like that. They're usually the best ones.
I'm so
I
stupid. I
find
think
making
that was
jokes.
genius.
Joking
But
backstories
so
always
Starside, what were you gonna say?
Wait, huh?
I was asking like if you had any final thoughts on the whole
Gotta
topic here.
use your brain.
seem to pop right.
Oh, interesting topic. Definitely, your imagination's endless. The only thing that's holding you back is you. To be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
Yep.
And the DM.
Go crazy, go stupid.
Yep.
Meow.
There's going crazy. There's going stupid. Just don't go sicko mode.
No promises.
Jesus.
I only have 2 levels. It's sane and sicko mode. There's only 2 options.
Sicko mode. Oh goodness.
But yeah, I think that's all the time we got on that. So thank y'all for tuning in, and hope to see y'all next time. Say bye, everybody.
Hello.
Bye bye.
Wee.